Drinking water first thing. The most basic move ever. You've got that one friend who looks weirdly energized all the time. Not coffee jittery, just alive. Their skin looks good, they don't complain about headaches, they seem to function like a normal human before noon. Their secret? They chug water the moment they wake up. Not coffee, not scrolling, water. Like the most boring thing possible. But here's what's happening. Your body just spent 8 hours without hydration. Your brain is literally shrinking from dehydration. You're starting the day in deficit mode, then wondering why you feel like garbage until 2 p.m. Smart people rehydrate first. Everyone else hits the snooze 17 times and wonders why life hits hard. How boring is this? Extremely. Does it work? Unfortunately, yes. Your body is 60% water, not 60% iced latte. Start acting like it. Making your bed. The habit that sounds like your mom. Some people think making your bed is pointless. I'm just going to mess it up again tonight. Congratulations, that's the dumbest logic ever applied to anything. Here's what making your bed actually does. It gives you a completed task before 7 a.m. Your brain gets a tiny hit of accomplishment. You've proven you can finish something. Then you come home after a terrible day and your room doesn't look like a crime scene. There's one thing that's in order, one small win waiting for you. Navy SEALs swear by this, not because they're obsessed with hospital corners, but because their small disciplines build bigger disciplines. If you can't handle making your bed, how are you handling anything else? How boring is this? Painfully. Does it transform your life? More than you think. Discipline starts with corners you actually tuck in. Walking after meals instead of collapsing like a sloth. You know that friend who eats a big meal and immediately becomes a couch potato? I'm in a food coma. Leave me alone. Meanwhile, their metabolism is shutting down and their blood sugar is spiking. Then there's that other person who takes a 10-minute walk after eating, just around the block, nothing else. They come back feeling normal while you're still digesting like a python that swallowed a whole deer. Science backs this up. Walking after meals stabilizes blood sugar, improves digestion, and prevents that crash that makes you useless for 3 hours. But most people would rather suffer through the food coma than take a boring walk. How boring is this? Incredibly. Does it work? Your pancreas and your productivity both say yes. Going to bed at the same time every single night. Some people treat their sleep schedule like a suggestion. Monday, they're asleep by 10. Friday, they're up until 3 a.m. Sunday, they sleep until noon trying to catch up. Their body has no idea what's happening. Their circadian rhythm is more confused than a tourist without Google Maps. Meanwhile, boring people go to bed at the same time every night. Even weekends, even when there's a party, even when there's a new show to bench. They prioritize their sleep schedule like it's a religion. Result? They wake up naturally. No alarm violence, no grogginess. Their body knows the rhythm and follows it. When you're hitting snooze and chugging caffeine to feel human, they're already 3 hours into their day. How boring is this? Absurdly. Will you do it anyway? Probably not. Which is why you're tired all the time. Eating the same breakfast. Decision fatigue is real. You know someone who eats the same thing for breakfast every single day? Oatmeal, eggs, whatever. Same meal every morning. No variety. Sounds boring, right? Maybe even sad. But here's what they're doing. Eliminating decision fatigue before the brain is even awake. Every decision you make drains mental energy. What to eat, what to wear, what to do first. By the time you've made 17 small choices before 9 a.m., you're already exhausted. Successful people automate the boring stuff. Same breakfast, same workout routine, same morning flow. They save their decision-making energy for things that actually matter. While you're standing in front of the fridge at 7 a.m. trying to figure out what sounds good, they're already done and moving on with their day. How boring is this? Devastatingly. Does it free up mental space? More than you'd ever admit. Tracking your spending. The habit nobody wants. There's that one person who knows exactly where their money goes. Not because they're cheap, not because they're anxious, because they track every single expense. Coffee, subscription, impulse Amazon purchase at midnight, all of it written down or in an app. They know their numbers. Meanwhile, you're wondering why you're broke every month despite not spending that much. Spoiler, you're spending more than you think. You just refuse to look at it. Tracking spending is boring. It's uncomfortable. It forces you to confront the fact that you bought 17 things you didn't need. But it's also how people stop living paycheck to paycheck and actually start building wealth. How boring is this? Soul-crushingly. Will it change your financial life? Absolutely. If you can handle the truth. Reading before bed instead of scrolling until your eyes burn. Most people end their day the same way, scrolling through a phone until their brain is fried and their eyes hurt. Then they wonder why they can't sleep or why they wake up anxious. Boring people read actual books before bed. Fiction, nonfiction, doesn't matter. Just something that isn't a glowing rectangle feeding them rage bait and comparison anxiety. Their brain winds down naturally. They fall asleep faster. They wake up less stressed because they didn't spend the last hour before sleep marinating in everyone else's problems and highlight reels. But you're watching TikToks about people's drama at 1 a.m. and wondering why your mental health is trash. How boring is this? Extremely. Does it actually help? Ask anyone who sleeps well. They'll tell you. Meal prepping Sunday, the ultimate boring flex. You know that person who never seems stressed about food? They're not ordering takeout every night. They're not panic eating at whatever's in the fridge. They just have food ready because they spent 2 boring hours on a Sunday cooking for the week. While you were scrolling or watching TV, they were portioning out meals like it's part-time job. Rice, protein, vegetables, all sorted into containers like they're running a small restaurant for one. Sounds miserable, right? But here's what happens. They save money, eat healthier, and never have that "what's for dinner" panic at 8 p.m. when they're already exhausted. They decided once, then they're done for the week. How boring is this? Spectacularly. Does it eliminate daily stress? More than most people are willing to admit. Taking actual breaks, not scrolling, actual rest. Some people think breaks means scrolling through their phone or watching YouTube. That's not a break. That's just switching tasks while your brain stays in input mode. Boring people take real breaks. They stare out the window. They stretch. They do nothing. Actually nothing. Their brain gets a chance to reset, to process, to rest. Meanwhile, your brain is just switching from work stress to social media stress, wondering why you're always exhausted. Real rest is boring because nothing's happening, but that's exactly why it works. Your brain needs boredom to recover. Without it, you're just running on fumes, pretending caffeine is a personality. How boring is this? Unbelievably. Will you do it? No. You'll keep doom scrolling and complaining you're tired. The 10-minute tidy every single day. There's someone you know whose place never looks messy. Not because they deep clean constantly, because they do 10 minutes every day. Dishes, counter wipe, put stuff away. That's it. 10 minutes every single day without fail. While you're letting the mess pile up until it's a 3-hour nightmare cleaning session, they're maintaining the most boring routine ever invented. But their environment never stresses them out because they never let it get bad. How boring is this? Aggressively. Does it prevent chaos? Completely. Which is why they're calm and you're not. The boring truth. Here's what nobody tells you about life-changing habits. They're supposed to be boring. If they were exciting, everyone would do them. The fact that they're mundane is exactly what filters out most people who aren't serious. Exciting habits don't stick. They burn out. They're unsustainable. Boring habits compound quietly over time until one day you look around and realize your entire life is different. Not because you did something dramatic, because you did something small, consistently, when nobody was watching and nothing felt impressive. That's the secret successful people don't tell you. Their life looks exciting because their habits are boring. If this made you realize you've been chasing excitement instead of consistency, good. Now you know what actually works. Hit that like button like you're committing to one boring habit. Subscribe like you're choosing sustainable over sexy. Because transformation doesn't come from motivation. It comes from boring repetition you do even when you don't feel like it. Same principles, different approach. Way better results.